Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the CryptoCurrently Show with Delkaz. I'm your host, and we are joined here with Old Bull from Playa3ull, a great, very cool new platform for crypto games. I'm really excited to have him. Um, so we're gonna get all into that and
Thank you.
meet him. And yep, welcome. So let's just go right into it. If you want to do a little introduction about yourself and how you got involved with the platform or how you got the idea, and you know, we'll take it from there.
Okay. 56 years old, Australian, born and bred, raised in Australia. Um, Sales background, moving into a marketing career,
Okay.
Masters of Marketing from Griffith University in Australia. And basically have been involved in crypto really since 2017, where I got the Bitcoin bug, and I actually met a bit of a weird guy. He was almost autistic, I think. He was like that sort of like borderline. That I'd bought a laptop off this guy, and he kept saying, you got to buy Bitcoin, you got to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
literally throughout the conversation, he kept saying it. Like we were talking about things, and I said, so what do you mean you got to buy Bitcoin? He goes, when you give me this money, I'm going to buy the Bitcoin. And he was actually going down to buy some more Bitcoin with the money I'd paid him for this laptop. So this started a very intense, inquisitive venture into what this guy was talking about. And I started looking at it and realizing that I'd heard about it earlier, but I hadn't really looked into it. So that was the
hmm
beginning of it. I had no money back then, but I did a lot of research, probably about 2 years solid research, and became quite well informed, but just didn't have the funds to really invest
Yeah.
in, like, I was raising. I had three teenagers, and they burn money. Teenagers, having children's a great idea. They get in the way of your
haven't
cryptocurrency
haven't got there yet,
collection.
but
So yeah,
because-
it's
so
so yeah,
did
so
you
that's a
look into
go
it,
on.
like mining at all, or you were just kind of researching the technology and
Yeah, I had a friend. Well, see, I'm not very technical, so I had a friend of mine who is very technical, and we looked at mining and stuff, and we looked at doing. Australia's got pretty expensive electricity, so we
mm,
were looking at doing had a big farm, and we were looking at doing getting a diesel generator run on vegetable oil that you can get from the fish and chip shops. You get the old vegetable oil out of the vats at the fish and chip shop, and then run the diesel generator on that, and then that supplies electricity to run the Bitcoin mines. And so we looked at all that, and we had a bit of a plan, but it just sort of went from one day to the next and fizzled out over time. And we
hmm
and life goes on. We both had businesses, and we were working hard and raising kids, and then in 2020, maybe very early 2021, my then 18-year-old son or 19-year-old son bought some Dogecoin, and
the Dogecoin.
I was actually angry. I was furious with him. Like, why would you buy a piece of shit like that? And I was so angry. And it's just like
Yeah.
there's so many good coins you could have bought into, and you've gone and bought that. And he goes, "Oh, it's just for fun, Dad." And I only bought a couple $100 worth. And anyway, he made 30% return or something on it in a couple of days,
Yeah.
and then sold it
Yep.
just so he would. And so he made a liar out of me. But then together we started. He said, "Can you show me what you learned?" And so we started going back over it, and within a very short period of time, he got hooked, and then
hmm
I was hooked, and then that led into the NFT craze of last year. So that led
Yeah.
into the 2021 NFT, and we rode that from pretty much we were just after the beginning, and so we missed our Bored Ape Yacht Club, but we got in not too far after that. So it sort of took off, and Jet, he's now 20. that he made 56,000 in a week. So
Wow.
trading NFTs.
Wow,
So
very nice.
he really nailed it, and we were buying 10 at a time out of each drop,
Hmm.
and then marking them back and flipping them out, and we had good weeks and bad weeks, but it just came crashing down all at the end there, like the bubble bursts, and we sort of thought it'd go to March, and we launched our own NFT that sort of didn't go anywhere, which was a pity, but we just missed the window. It just sort of collapsed in on itself right at the
Yeah,
end.
I know a
And
lot of
we were
projects
so
kind of suffered from that, just a little too late, and yeah,
yeah,
the
and
window was gone. Yeah.
we were heads down, bum up in it, and we just weren't really observing what was going on in the marketplace, and we'd sort of stopped trading at that point. We were just literally it took so long to build them,
Hmm.
and we got some really bad advice early on that you can make rules to get around conflicts, and that's just terrible advice because the rules are really hard to write, and you make one rule and it affects other rules. So
Yeah, yeah.
we end up hiring three programmers at one point to try and get this thing working, and we finally got it working.
Wow. So
But
this was uh, this was on the Ethereum blockchain that you were doing it, or
yeah, we launched on Ethereum, and of
so,
course the the cost was enormous, and
yeah, yeah.
it was all everything was the wrong time. And by the time we actually launched, it was the wrong timing. The window was closing. Fees, like, I'd been caught a couple of months before with a $1,350 gas fee on
Yep.
one NFT.
At one
You know,
point there,
and
yeah, gas fees were just ridiculous for everything.
it was really wild times. And so short end of the stick, that failed, and we crashed to the bottom on that. And
I bet you learned
we
a lot from it though, huh?
well, it's interesting. Like, I am a big believer that failure is only failure if you quit. Otherwise, it's learning. And if you learn from what you did wrong, and we knew a lot of what we did wrong was timing. It wasn't like I had been involved with other launches before we did our own, so I knew what they had done, and they had been successful. So we weren't far off. So we
Yeah.
knew it was more timing. But what our original goal was to launch an NFT collection and then move into gaming off the money that raised. And so we basically had a good talk amongst the family and thought, where do we want to go with this? And it's like we'd lost about 40 grand by the time we sort of gone in and out, and it wasn't pretty, but we still had money left, and we'd done well out of NFTs. But we knew the NFT thing was just sour at that
Hmm.
point. Like, nobody was interested in it. It was really on the nose. Like, people were just like, "Nah, don't even talk to me about NFTs."
Around what time was that? Like
That
about a
was
year ago
late
or?
October, November.
Okay,
Oh
yeah.
no, 6 months ago.
6 months ago, yeah.
And so then we said, well, we were going to go towards games anyway. So why don't we skip out the NFT part and go? Let's go and raise funding. I had a friend of mine who was a game developer,
Hmm.
and he had a good game, and didn't have funding. And we decided what we'd do is we'd skip the NFT thing and we'd jump over that, and we'd actually launch a coin. And I'd been studying about how to launch coins and stuff, and so with a lot of effort, and we wrote a white paper and worked out what this coin was going to be, and then what we wanted this gaming company to be, and we sort of had good ideas from what we were going to do from the NFTs. So it took about another 2 or 3 months. So that was like the end of December, early January. We launched on the 2nd of the 2nd, 22nd. So it was 2222. And it was a perfect timing, riding on the coattails of Gala Games.
Right, right.
We just nailed it. It was the right time, right place, right product. Our white paper was correct in the way it portrayed. It was smart enough to make sense, and it was dumb enough to be read by everyone. And it was like, some white papers are just so complex. You read three
Yeah.
pages and like, I don't even know what I'm fucking reading here.
Yeah,
This is
for sure.
crazy, So um, and like, so we sort of got that right. And then we were super lucky because we got Intense Investor and James Pelton got on very early, and both of them just loved the project, and their communities just backed us. And so we shot out of the gate. And by I think day 10 or 11, we're at our 18-month goal.
Wow.
So yeah,
Very
it was
impressive.
fantastic.
Wow.
So it
Yeah,
was,
I looked
and
at
like
I was
a lot of that
looking at your
was
site. I've been looking around at your site, and it looks you have the platform built out. You have I think over 4,500 people around running nodes for you. Um, so kind of I guess for everyone to kind of go into the general idea behind it. You don't have to give us the whole white paper right here. They can go on your website and look
no,
for it later. But kind of the general idea, and why they would want to get a node and stake and what that allows you is going to allow you to do for the games.
okay. Well, I mean, like the nodes are a way to build your own blockchain. So you need a blockchain needs nodes, and when Satoshi launched Bitcoin, whenever you started mining Bitcoin, you were creating a node. So
Hmm.
your computer became a node, and the software installed on your computer was a node, and then you had to mine that. So we didn't want to mine because mining sort of like the older proof of work is an older technology, and in some respects it's the best technology, but it's expensive to run and it's very resource um, expensive.
Yeah.
So in the sense of computer hardware, not just electricity, but like it needs when the blockchain's young, it's not, but as it matures, it gets more and more expensive to become competitive. And so now you need to mine Bitcoin, you need like ASIC miners and stuff, which is serious pieces of hardware. Um, so we didn't want to go down proof of work, and we didn't want to go proof of stake for a bunch of reasons with proof of stake. But I really liked the node idea, and I watched what Gala Games had done. And the node idea is a really sweet way of doing it. So what you do is you basically, instead of releasing all your coins at once, so like Bitcoin, you mine the coins and the coins come out slowly through the miners. And proof of stake, you release all the coins at once and then people stake them, like invest them basically.
Hmm.
And that's how you get stability. And nodes is sort of like mining, but without mining. The nodes themselves, if you download the node software, then, or you buy the node software, as in our case, then that license gives you permission to create, the node creates coins for you each day.
Okay.
And so that's the reward to the node owners. And obviously we can't talk about investment or return on investment or anything like that because we're not a financial planning company or
Yeah. Hmm.
so all of our literature will say the stuff that everyone says, which is this is not financial advice and don't invest in this if you want to make money because we don't promise any money.
Right. Right.
Um, but there's a system to follow, and over time, so those first couple of weeks, the original node owners were getting like 40,000 coins a day. And then as more nodes join, we're now down to 1,500 coins a day. A
Hmm.
node gets 1,500 coins a day. And you've just got to, with these projects, you've got to have the ability to look into the future. So if you look, when you look at just ROI on today's, like our coin price today, I haven't even looked. Let me just quickly check. Our coin price today is so just under a tenth of a cent. So um, so if you do an ROI, and that's going to take about 2 years to repay back the 4,400 it costs to buy a node today.
Hmm.
But the coin price won't always stay at that point. And so as all cryptocurrencies, it jumps around. We're in a bear market right now. It's very cold. And
Yes. Yes.
we've only lost a couple of tenths of a cent, whereas other companies have lost, 200 to 300%. So
Yep.
we're very unaffected by it. And node projects tend to be pretty unaffected by this sort of stuff. And the beautiful thing about a node project is all the people that invested in us 3 months ago, they've been receiving coins every day and just saving them. And so when the coin price comes back up to something reasonable, like 10 cents or 20 cents or 50 cents, then suddenly they're going to have hundreds of thousands of coins. And they're going to actually have a very big return. So that's the sort of thing that node projects allow you to do that
Yeah.
other ones don't. So
So
it's a really good way of doing it. Yeah.
so what so we know obviously why people would want to start running their own node and but what is that going to be allowing you to facilitate your platform? Is that running processing power for these different games, or what is that going to allow you guys to do as a, gaming
Well,
platform?
it's twofold. The nodes raise money for us. So the money by selling the nodes, we've raised several $1,000,000
Hmm.
and like a few $1,000,000. We've invested that into buying games. So we've actually bought gaming companies. So our first game, Riven, these games. So that's an 80% complete game, 4 years in the making. They've already invested, God knows how much money, but there's been a team of 5 working for 4 years on it. All mates, all just working
Okay.
together for the love of it, But
Okay. Hmm.
if you put a financial cost on that, it'd be enormous. Like hundreds and hundreds of hours each put into it, or thousands. And so we've bought that game. We own 51% of that company, and
Is that
that's our go on.
sorry? Go ahead. Is that playable currently? Is it still in like still in
It's in
development?
closed beta at the moment.
Closed beta. Okay.
Yeah. So we're about to open beta on the 10th next month. So we're doing an open beta on that. So it's
Okay.
already had a beta. We had an open about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
And
We
how
allowed our
how would people get into this open beta? Can they just join your Discord, or how if they want to test it out and
yep,
play it?
join our Discord.
Cool.
Uh, Look at Riven,
Here, let me
REVN.
all right, let me pull up the game video you have here, and
Cool.
let's show them that here. All right, so let me flip over
This is a
here.
MOBA. It's a MOBA like League of Legends, but it's three-dimensional, not two-dimensional.
Okay, and
You're actually in
it's all on PC currently.
all PC. Yep.
Okay. All right, let's flip over to that quick and watch this Revan video. All right. So let's get the. Can I here? Let me open it in YouTube so I can get the full screen here. All right, here we go. So this is a 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, it's very good fun to play. Very fast paced. Being 3D, you feel much more part of the action than you do like in League of Legends where it's top down. So yeah, you get pretty lost in it pretty quickly, which is I think one of the big points of it is that it's immersive, and that's one of our goals with each game is to make them immersive. And
Hmm.
this is a professional level game. Our goal is to go after the Rocket League type audience. We want to start as like a AA game, and then if it gets good enough, like if we get good enough following, then it'll move in towards a AAA game
Hmm.
as we put more funds into it. But at this point, our goal is just to go that we've got a policy we don't make AAA games. They're too expensive to just start off that way. You've really got
Yes.
to try and get your following. If the following comes, then we'll invest the money to bring them up to AAA. But at this point, everything we do is like A or AA. But yeah, so Revan was a really good find, and the Revan team is amazing, and they're a group of young guys out of America, and they're a team of I think there was 5 guys originally, and now it's a team of 12. So they're working on it every day. So out of the feedback we got, that's improved a heap since the just last fortnight where we did the feedback. We had so what Playa3ull Games did for Revan is that we collated all surveys and got everyone to take surveys, and then all that surveyed information got collated back into what the main points that people wanted was, and then we actually took that back to Revan, and Revan addressed those points and fixed the things that wanted to be fixed and added things in. Like one of the feedbacks was that it took too long to run out and you died in intense battle. You wanted to get back to that battle quicker. So so they've now put launch pads in so you can actually launch out of the home base halfway down the map. It's really cool. And so you just
Cool.
jettison off in, so your character flies down basically. It's fantastic.
Nice.
So, and there's
So
going to be some great
so it sounds like you're very listening to community and watching your Discord and kind of making changes as they bring stuff up.
Look, we believe that gaming has to come from the gamer. So to the time of game developers being prima donnas that just tell you how their game's going to be, I think that time's passed. I think we've had those years. That was the 90s through, to the 2020s. I think Blizzard has proven that if you just ignore your customer base long enough, even World of Warcraft, people will turn around and go, you know what, I'm sick of you, we're not staying. So Playa3ull Games has been built totally on the premise that if you're involved with the game, and we're going to have DAOs involved where the DAO informs, you can buy tickets to a DAO, and the DAO actually gives feedback regularly to the developers, and the developers listen to that feedback and act on it.
Very cool.
So the DAO becomes the information loop the devs get their information from. And if you care about the game and you're a player and you want to care about it, you buy a DAO ticket and you actually get involved and speak with the devs. Yeah.
And is that
very
is it those if people are interested in getting involved, is that the DAO? Is that you go onto your site? Is that your VIP ticket? Or where do they get that?
At the moment, it's VIB, so very important bulls.
Okay.
But there will be a DAO NFT released probably in
As well.
once Revan goes into full beta, it will be released then, and that will be, those people are the ones. So there'll be 10,000 DAO tickets, and those 10,000 tickets will be. So we expect to get 20 to 50,000 players a night for that game.
Wow.
There'll be 10,000 if you want to be one of the people that get a say in what happens in the game, buy one of those tickets. So
okay.
And it'll be an NFT that you hold in your wallet, and it'll give you the right to vote. So
Cool.
the devs will ask for feedback, and what the people vote, we act on.
So. Very cool. Yeah, I think that's very important, and especially with the Web3 NFT gaming in this day, it's kind of all community, very community focused, right? It's almost a buzzword in the crypto space, but it really is important, and the community, people want to feel like they're involved. It has a say, especially if they are the ones that love your game, play your game all the time. It really is a good thing to have them, giving advice, because they're the ones spending hundreds of hours in the game. Even sometimes the developers don't know, some of these little things that can make it better or tweaks and stuff. So listening to the community is a huge thing, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are very community centered and focused. And so I think this is a good segue to the Playable has sponsored some giveaways here for us in the community today. So we had a whole bunch of giveaways they're giving away. Each prize is going to be 10,000 bull coin, and that 10,000 is enough. If you want, you can go onto their platform and purchase their VIP pass. So we're going to be doing a few giveaways at the end of the show today. We have a few giveaways up in my Discord, and we have one giveaway on the Twitter. So there's a few different ways you can enter. Stick around, hang out, and we're going to be doing those a little bit later. So jumping back into this Brevin, is this like a play to earn type game where they're earning coins within the game, or is that a completely separate type thing? How is that?
So Revan is built to be a professional tournament game. So it's
Okay.
actually going to, we actually are going to gear this up to be a professional prize money, a proper professional full-time league that teams play together and become full-time players. It'll also have an amateur league, which you'll be able to earn money in. So you'll be able to buy a ticket to a game, and that ticket is the cost of entry to the game. And the winners of the game get all the money that was put in. So there'll be
Cool.
$1 tickets and $5 tickets and $10 tickets and $100 tickets, and there might even be $1,000 tickets. So there'll be we haven't decided on what they're going to be in the end, but we're not doing any of this until the game's fully stable and there's no bugs. So
Right.
what we call a gold release. That will be probably January next year. We're aiming for a gold release. So our beta release is in the next month or two, but probably 2 months away. But our gold release probably won't be until January, February next year. And that will be the first season of the professional league. And not quite sure on the prize money there, but most probably going to be around $1 million prize money for the first season to the teams that are involved. And the amateur league will be whatever people want to fund. So they'll be like you just be buying tickets to each game, and we'll have some AI watching over that to make sure people aren't losing their house. Some people get a bit carried away with their
Yeah.
I'm going to win the next one. I'm going to win the
Yep.
next one. I promise. Yeah. So if they lose too many in a row, they'll be cut off. So, but
Okay. Okay.
we don't want to make money that way. That's not what we're after. It's just about being able to back yourself. I've always said talk's cheap,
Hmm.
right? So let's put your money where your mouth is. If you reckon you're really good, let's play. Let's play and see how good you are. So you'll never catch me saying I'm really good because I'm not.
So we
I'm a
won't be seeing
terrible
you
player.
we won't be seeing you in those $1,000 matches.
Not the $1,000 ones. No, you might see me in the $1 ones for a bit of fun. No, I'll send my boys. My boys are really good. They're really good players. So I'll send them to play.
Very
Yeah,
cool. Okay. And so let's before we get into the other games that you guys are launching, that's the first one. You're building on the Avalanche um, blockchain,
at the
correct?
moment, yep, correct.
And I've only actually had one experience on Avalanche. It was great, really smooth, fast, inexpensive gas. But why did you guys choose Avalanche over anything else, or was it just kind of time,
It's
place?
smooth, really fast, and
Yeah,
really cheap gas.
pretty
So
much.
that's that's why. Yeah,
Yes.
it's look, it's been built with gaming in mind, so it's very quick. It's very scalable, and the when we decided to go, it was we had the choice of anything, and I really like Cardano. I would have liked to have gone on Cardano, but
Hmm.
at that point, Cardano just wasn't quite where we wanted to be gaming wise, and our devs felt more comfortable programming in Solidity, and Avalanche is written in Solidity, so it was just where we wanted to go. So um, it didn't really matter so much for our first chain because we're just using their chain to host our chain, and when we actually get our 50,000 nodes sold, then we'll actually launch our own chain, and we'll actually fork someone's chain. So whether that's Avalanche we fork, or whether that's Cardano, or Polygon, or Phantom, who knows? There's a whole bunch of great chains out there. So
Yeah.
Ethereum might be back up to A grade playable again. Who knows? But they're not right now. So
Yeah. We'll
it's
see. See if they get their 2.0 out or what happens with that.
we'll see. Look, they've got a place, where they are right now. Like, they if you call them internet computer, I think that's quite a good. It's quite a good way to refer to them, and they don't need to do anything different. They could really stay where they are, and they're going to have
That's
a lot
true.
of support. And the gaming, some platforms are going to follow Solana and Avalanche in the gaming, and Polygon's going to be more DApps and stuff. So, like, there's a lot of opportunity for everyone. I believe this is a huge space opening up. It's not.
Hmm.
It's. People keep talking about, oh gosh, there'll only be 3 winners in the end. Well, there might be, but that's 100 years away. Like it took 50 years to drop down to something like 20 or 30 car manufacturers in the States. There was hundreds to start with, so we're going to be like that. It'll be a lot to start with, and it'll thin down over time, and things will become more obvious. But what we want right now is lots of development, lots of ideas, lots of innovation, lots of
Hmm.
competition. All that's just so healthy for the space,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really good. It's a very exciting place to be.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, at least that are in the space and have been for the last couple of years, are looking at it like it's, really kind of already well developed and defined, but we're really at the very, very, very beginning of what it is and what it's going to be. Like, like the internet
Oh
was
yeah,
just years ago. It
yeah.
kind of feels, in my mind, similar to the how the internet was in the early days, right? When it was more of a
Oh,
Wild West type of thing, free and
and
do whatever.
and computers before that, like that. Like I'm old
Yeah.
enough to remember. I'm like this. This whole idea happened because when I looked down at on a piece of paper, I looked at. I'd I'd watched the computer industry start. So I was in my 20s, like very early 20s, when the computer industry really took off. So
Okay.
that sort of like mid to late 80s, and like where a where a Pentium 2 computer was cutting edge. Like
Yep.
if you had 8 megabytes of storage, you were a rock star, and if you had a couple of whatever it was kilobytes of RAM, it was like games were terrible. But like Red Alert was the first big game I had. And
Yeah.
it needed a Pentium 4 computer, I think, to play that. And that was a serious. That was the first time I realized that gaming was something huge. So I watched the computer industry start and then evolve, and then I watched hundreds of competitors start off and then get narrowed down and slowly evolve over 30 years. And then I watched the internet start and evolve and then narrow down over like a 20-year period. And now we're watching, you know, the cryptocurrency start, in 2013, 2009, but let's say 2000, when Ethereum started, that 2000, what's it, 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. I think that was sort of like the real beginning of, like, obviously Bitcoin was the real beginning. But I think where it started, people started to realize this was more than just some weird thing.
Yeah.
There was something that people became interested in. So if I sort of take that from like 2013 thereabouts. So it's where like being able to see those three things in a row, those like computers first, then internet, so Web 1, then Web 2. Now if we move into Web 3 and crypto take on from there, it's pretty easy to see that it's accelerating faster. The computers was like 40 years, internet was 30 to 20 years. They're now saying that this is going to be 10 years sort of thing by the time this matures. So it's getting really quick, and I didn't want to miss out this time around. Had to be involved.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems I'm really happy that you were um, my first show because it really what the platform is facilitating games. I got into crypto space. I mean, I did a little bit of mining way back and just playing around with it, but really my first delve into the crypto space was with a crypto game. Um, and that was my first NFT I got because the game facilitated it, and that's I got my first ETH because I had to buy the NFT with ETH, and so the whole down the rabbit hole, right? And then just got into a bunch of different games, and then went down the NFT hole, or that went on for a while, and just got into Discord and hanging out with communities, started doing community management and meeting a lot of people in the space, and it really is a really awesome space to be in, especially when you start connecting with the builders of the Web3, um, and the people, because there was really great people in this space and really driven
Mm.
people, and they want to make it great. Um, Obviously you have your bad actors and things, but it's how it is anywhere especially in such a
Any
brand new space.
any any innovation. I mean, go back to the gold rush. That's the closest thing I can think of in old times. The land grab in America and Australia and you know, countries, people jumping on any boat they could get to this new land with this hope and dream that they might be able to move out of the lower class into the middle class. So well,
Hmm.
there was no real middle class then, but it was a chance at riches. So what I love about crypto is it's that all over again. You actually have a chance now to not, before it gets too regulated, and regulation's a great thing, and I think that's going to be good long term. But by the time it becomes fully regulated, the opportunity will be gone.
Right.
So, like they regulate out risk, and so
Yep.
it's the risk you need to become rich. So
Exactly. Big
this is
risk,
the
big
time to be
reward.
in it. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's how it works. You take a bet on a block of land that on your block there's going to be some gold. And you might be right, you might be wrong, and if you're wrong, buy another block of land, different lease. And if you're wrong again, get a different lease and keep trying. And it's the only way. And the people sitting back in London saying, "Oh, those fools, those fools." Yeah, a lot of people are going to end up not making a huge amount of money out of it, but some people do, and a lot of people make good money out of it. So my sons have done very well already, and just with like a little bit of advice, a little bit of thought, you can actually move around quite safely.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just love being in it. It's very invigorating, and obviously the opportunities are amazing. So, and
Yep.
as you said, the people that are here are a certain type of person, and they're the sort of people I like hanging out with. They're fun,
Yeah. Yep.
make things happen. They're not scared of their own shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
good.
it is really, really the people are fantastic, and that the community built of the builders and the support you get in every project isn't trying to kill every other project. Everyone's there, everyone's doing their thing and supporting everyone else. Um, so yeah, it's really a great space to be in.
Yeah, totally agree.
So let's go back into you're facilitating a lot of these other builders with your platform to come in and build games for where you're sponsoring them, or I'm not, you know, giving them the funds to do. What are some of the other games you have on your platforms that you're excited about, and you take a look at those,
We,
then.
we were going to have Tyrannus here tonight. He's the lead
Hmm.
dev for um, the Harvey Munster team, but
Yep.
they're another game company we bought. Um, they're making War of Steel for us, which is a mech warrior battle royale. So it's going to
Okay.
be wild.
Yeah,
There's
I'm a pretty good friend of Tyrannus, and he actually facilitated this meeting, and he was talking about the games. I saw the video. We'll show the video here for everyone, but yeah, we're really excited about that too. And yeah, let me. Do you have anything to say more about it before I show the video,
I'll
or you
show
want to? Okay. Here.
show the video and then we'll talk about it after.
Okay. Here. Let
I obviously
me
can't.
let me pull this up.
It's
And
coming at us.
all right, here we go. The official title is what? Royale, or what was it?
Roboto Royale was so
Roboto.
we had a game we were going to build called Roboto Doggos, and the very last minute the dev that was going to do that bailed on us, and it was right on our launch. So we had to pay him a large sum of money to get the rights to it. So we had the rights to Roboto Doggos, and when we started talking to Tyrannus about building Roboto Doggos for us, he said, "Look, these doggos look fun, but they're not great." He says, "Let's build something great." He says, "Mechs are great. Let's build mechs." And so the Roboto Royale was just a working title. It's now
Okay.
we've had our community vote, and they voted on War of Steel.
War of
So
Steel. All right. Very cool. So let's take a look at that. Here is War of Steel. Wow, very cool. I'm excited for that one. That looks really awesome. And so you said Tyrannus is the lead dev on that, and he was supposed to be here today, but I'll have him on another episode. He can kind of talk more. But so yeah, what that's you said is a kind of a Fortnite
Battle
style
Royale.
or battle royale.
Yep, Fortnite style Battle Royale drop in PUBG. As a drop in, we're working out. We think we're going to drop in just in human form, and you'll find your mechs on the ground.
Oh,
We're,
okay,
we're, we're experimenting with that. Another way we could do it is you choose your mech in the lobby, and the mech itself drops in with you. We're going to be trying both and getting the community to vote on that and see what they like better. So there's a couple of different game styles there. Um, you can get your mech injured, so it's no longer workable. You can jump out and run to another mech. It gives you sort of like a spare life type thing. But if you get hit by a laser beam as a human, you're dead. So it's just a very small thread of life you'll have there that you can sprint across the ground and hopefully get to a different mech. But this is designed to be the opposite of Revan. Revan is a professional level game that will take hundreds of hours to get really good at,
okay.
and dozens of hours a week to stay really good at and competitive. This is a come home from work, ring up your mates and say, "Come on, guys, let's jump in and blow up some shit." It's
Very
just going to
cool.
be a really fun game. Just muck around, teams versus teams, winner takes all. There'll be a couple of different gameplay modes. Trennis wants to do a 50 versus 50
Wow.
all-out war where you just run towards the center line, and the last mech standing wins, the last team standing.
Just everything
And
is blowing up
we're going
all
to do a
around
proper
you.
trip. Yeah, and we're spending a lot of time getting the explosions right and the sounds right, and we've got the camera shakes, and when the big mechs walk past, the ground shakes, and really spending time making it be immersive and bring you into it. It's going to be fun. Just a couple of controls. There'll be not much to learn. It'll just be wits. And one of the things I find really hard with games as an older person is that I'm not married to the keyboard the way my sons are. My sons don't have to think about what they push on the keyboard.
Hmm.
They can just make the keyboard do what their brain says. I can't do that. So one of my requests of Tyrannus was, can you please make this joystick oriented so I can use a joystick? I want to be able
Okay.
to be really simple to play this. And I can use my brain. I've got a good brain. Let me get my brain into the computer properly and
Yeah.
give me a chance. But it's not going to be a proper competitive game in the sense of tournament type thing. We'll have tournaments and stuff, but it won't be like Riven. It won't be a professional, perfectly balanced. We're not after that. This is
Okay.
pure fun first. Wild skins. Look, I'm getting a bullhead neck made for me. So it'll be a great big bullhead with horns running around.
Very cool. So
So
customization and are those
yeah, we'll have all that sort of stuff.
is that going to be like NFTs that are dropping
Yeah,
in different? Are you going to buy different mechs or you have a custom mechs and you buy souped up ones or how is that going to play into everything of that?
we're going to. Well,
Or
then you
hasn't
got
been
to.
decided yet?
There's different levels to it. So when there's PvP involved, you can't alter gameplay with buying,
Yep.
or else you have play to win, pay to win,
Hmm.
and pay to win's boring for everyone.
Yeah, they get
The
old
guy
fast.
with the
Yeah.
most money, yeah, the guy with the most money wins all the time. It's pretty boring. It's the same as when you play World of Warcraft and the guy on your server's a car accident victim and smokes dope all day because he earns $500,000 a year from the government. And he plays WoW 18 hours a day. You can't beat that guy either. So that's the opposite. He's got
Right.
all the time in the world. You don't want to make a game that someone who's got all the money in the world wins. So you've got to get that balanced. And Tranis has got some really good ideas with that. But basically, the skins and stuff will just be skins. They won't affect the gameplay very much.
Hmm.
Um, anything you'll be able to buy as an upgrade, you'll be able to earn as an upgrade as well, just through time.
Okay.
So someone that doesn't have money can exchange time, and they'll be able to buy that thing through earning it. So, but so there'll
That's
be
I
a
think
so
that's a
if we
good
make
compromise. Yeah.
yeah yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great game and a real zinger.
Very cool. Yeah, that one. I mean, just watching the trailer, it looks like a lot of fun just to get in and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's
just
3 different size mechs. Yep. So there's going to be the big tank. That'll be the one I play all the time. It'll just be slow and lumbering along, and it'll take it'll have 4 trillion HP. It'll be hard. It'll be hard to kill. But the smaller mechs will be able to run away from it and stay out of its range, and it'll have a weak spot. You'll have to learn where the weak spots are on it, and then the smaller mechs will be able to get in there and attack those weak spots, and you know, and the smaller ones have weak spots as well. So there'll be ways to, you know,
cool.
yeah, there's
So I
lots of
mean,
fun things coming with that.
yeah, like easy to get in and start playing, but still thought and strategy involved
Oh,
to
there'll be
actually be able
tactics.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want to make those tactics more brain oriented rather than just keyboard skill oriented. So we want it to be that you might play as a team, 3 or 4 of you, and you might have 2 tanks and 2 fast ones. And then you set up. You might sacrifice 1 tank to kill 4 or 5 other tanks, like 4 or 5 other um, competitors. So there's ways you can do things. That's the sort of stuff we're discussing. It's going
Okay.
like all of our games are fun first, and then we work out how to kryptonize them later. So
That's
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 we're not
important.
interested in we're not interested in the money up front from the game. We have our coin and our nodes make the company the money,
Hmm.
and we have the money to pay the devs. We're paying the devs to make the games. No one's starving on the way through. There's no rush to get this to market to make money. We've got the money to do all that. So what we want, our brief here is the game has to be a great game to start with. And then as the game grows, we'll work out how to make money out of it.
Yeah.
There's I don't know what the guy's name is, but the guy that started Quora, the sort of like that question and answer platform,
Hmm. Yep.
QQORA. Um, he was in an interview a couple of years ago, and they said, "Oh, how are you going to monetize this?" And he goes, "I don't care." His ex Facebook. He says, "You don't worry about that. You just build it and
Yeah.
let it get big, and when it gets big, it'll monetize." So they all monetize when they're big enough. So he says, "We're not worrying about monetizing it just yet," and that's how we're building these games. We don't care. We're building great games first. We'll monetize them as we go. So it'll
That's
it'll happen.
yeah, that's great to hear. Especially I feel like that's really important, especially in the crypto space. A lot of games are built, at least have been built. I think it's changing now, but at the beginning of crypto games, they're just kind of built, you click a button,
Yeah.
you get the coin, you make money. There's no real gameplay, there's no real thought or
No,
anything that's really that
no.
fun. It's just like do this so you can get a little bit of something. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that hurt the crypto game. I mean, obviously it was a place to start and it got a lot of people into it, but going into the future, I mean, I see gaming eventually will all be crypto and have
Yeah.
integration with NFTs and the currencies in them
Yeah.
because they're just so well set up for it already. I mean, people are talking about metaverses, but really, like every game that was built for the computer is its own metaverse in a way. Um,
Of course.
so
Well, World of Warcraft was really the first proper metaverse, wasn't it? It was like this amazing world that you went to for hours on end each day. I mean, I
yeah.
lost 5 years of my life in World of Warcraft. It's like
I
it's
got out
like
of
I
it a
know I
little bit
lost.
quicker than that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, I seriously sacrificed. I was lucky. I was a boat broker at the time, so I had a lot of time, and I literally spent some days 16 hours a day playing this game. It's like go
Yeah.
to work and do a couple of presentations. I was just racing home to get back into the world. And I I was playing a guy in Daisy last year, and he said, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said, "Oh, I live in Melbourne, Australia." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, where do you live?" And he goes, "I live in Chinaris, which is the Daisy world." And I
Huh.
thought that's why he's so good. He
You
he thinks
just
about living. That's where he
yeah,
lives. That's
just
the
take up
whole thing.
residence and yeah.
Yeah. That's why you can't beat that guy. So,
Very cool. So yeah, we got just a few more minutes here. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Maybe we could pull up your platform, your website, or look at whatever you want to.
we've got we've got a metaverse game hopefully coming through next week. We'll be announcing that. It's not out yet. We haven't got heads of agreements finally signed, but we're very close. Once that's all signed, we'll release that. It's a Australian company that's building it for us. They're several members of their team are very well known worldwide, and again, we've been in a lucky position where we've had funding for them, and they needed the funding. They've got some fantastic ideas. It's a combination of multiple things all put into the metaverse, and we'll be combining all of the games through that. So all of our games will have pieces that fit into the metaverse, and it's very like we don't even know what the metaverse is going to be in 5 years. Like no one
Yeah,
does. Like
yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know. Elon Musk doesn't know. Like it's all still up there in the world, what it's going to be. But we are going to be on the ground floor. So we're in there making same as everyone else. Able Games is going to have we're having our own metaverse. We're going to have pieces that you can play and earn in right away. But as the technology gets better and better, and we move towards photorealistic metaverse,
Hmm.
that's where we're going to probably end up. Just probably plugging into the back of our heads in 10 years' time with Elon's neural net. So it's going to get pretty wild.
It
And
is, yeah.
I think within 10 to 15 years we're going to not be able to tell the difference between metaverse and real life. And
I agree. I mean it's getting close. I was watching some of those videos from Unreal
yeah,
Engine 5, and it you some of them you can't tell that this isn't taken with a camcorder somewhere. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. And then when you have the once you get the whatever it's going to be as a screen or VR unit that can support that level of clarity, it is going to be like you won't know.
I think we'll bypass all that sooner or later. We'll just go straight to, as Elon's doing, jacking straight into the brain,
Yeah.
and just go straight to the visual cortex. You'll be able to close your eyes and you'll be there. And the brain just needs X amount of information to create the illusion of a memory or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. And the brain's totally capable of creating whatever shit you want it to create. It just
Mhm.
needs a stimulation to create it. So
That
if I say to you, think of an elephant, you're going to see an elephant. You can't help it. So it's it's all there. All the programming's in our brain already. And I dare say over the next 10, 15, 20 years, whether it's Elon or someone else, they'll work out how to just plug into the back of our heads and access it. And
yeah.
then the metaverse world is our oyster. We can just create whatever we want. We can have smell, we can have taste, we can have the feeling of drinking, we can have obviously sex and relationships and like. And as one girl that was interviewed last week, I was watching her be interviewed, and they said, "How do you feel about it? We might be living in a metaverse already. This might be something that's unreal." And she
Mhm.
said, "Don't you care?" And she goes, "No, why would I care? If it feels real, it's real." And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of truth to that. I think there's some very deep psychological reasons why we should know what is real and what's not real. But there's a lot of truth to what she's saying as well, that when something feels real, it doesn't really matter whether it is or it's not. So,
Yeah. If you're
and,
believing
you know,
it's real, that's you accept it as real.
correct. And being able to um, take a worker who's working a terrible job and put them into a metaverse, it's not terrible. And they can still work on that factory line. But now they're working in a field with birds fluttering around them, and you know, suddenly they're doing a job that's hard, and in a factory would be terrible. But by a stream out in the field, talking to their friends, suddenly something that was really terrible might not be so terrible. People in hospital that are, I've just been in hospital. I shattered my wrist,
Oh
and
man.
yeah, I've got to go back to get the operation to put it all back together next week. But I was thinking while I was lying in bed, imagine if I could be in virtual reality right now, and I could be on a yacht in the Mediterranean rather than a hospital in Dubai. You know,
Yeah.
so how much cooler would that be? How much more relaxed would I be? How much, hospitals have a certain weirdness about them that sort of hurts the soul a bit.
Hmm.
And what if metaverse could take you somewhere away from that you couldn't really tell the difference, and your nurse walks across the deck and says, "Hey, check that arm out for you," and like, I don't think we're very far from that at all. So I think we're
Yeah.
we're going to see some explosive jumps forward
And
next few years. It's
yeah,
going to be
I think you are onto something there because the hospital does have kind of you're saying a feeling or a kind of a drain or something on the soul, but if you can remove yourself from that in a little way, you're on the yacht. Like it's been shown, like your mind can heal your body, and putting your mind into that positive space and just relax you, let your body take over and heal itself. I think that is a very good point. And
yeah. Well, think about waking up from a dream. Like, you wake up from a dream and you go, "Wow, that wasn't real." Ah, damn. So, I can't see that if our
yeah,
brain's capable of doing all that, I can't see why we're not going to get to that pretty quickly. Now we know what we're looking for. So,
absolutely, yeah,
so
cool.
anyway,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, thanks very much for hanging out with me, being
my
the
my
very
pleasure.
first guinea pig. Uh,
I
the
would
CryptoCurrently
do it.
Show.
Happy. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And maybe we'll do it again one time, and we can get
Yeah,
some of our other teams on if you want, and we can talk. We might bring Silas and some of his team across from Riven. If we get this metaverse on, sure, we'd love to talk about that as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. I
yeah,
would love to focus. I'm going to be mostly focusing on crypto games in the space because that's what I really love is the gaming and as I said, that's kind of how I got into it to begin with. They're passionate about and why they're bringing this to be into the
agreed.
world. Um, so thanks again. We have Old Bull from Playable Platformware with us. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
I'm going to do some giveaways here in a little bit and maybe show your platform. One thing I wanted to ask before you leave, your the VIP package that you are, so you're giving away 10,000 packs of 10,000 bull coins, right? And you can,
Mhm.
with that, you can decide if you want to purchase one of their VIP packages. Is that an NFT itself, or what is that, and why would they want to do
Uh,
that?
um, being a VIB, so a very important bull, or VI3,
Oh,
is how it's
VIB,
spelled.
VI3. Okay,
Very important bull. The
bull.
three in our name is a bit just representative of a bull, a B.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we just did that because it means I'm in marketing, and your number one problem when you start a new brand is you've got to be able to get everything. So how do you get your Twitter? How do you get
Uh-huh.
Facebook? How do you get so using numbers and stuff in names helps secure those things pretty easily.
Hmm.
And I've always been a fan of those number plates where you have bull and it's 3ULL, so
Yep, yep.
I thought, hey, that'll work really well.
You got the elite
Or
speak
four is
going
an
on.
A. Yeah, yeah. So I'm really hip as a young dude.
Yeah.
So but yeah, the VIB package is just it's early access to games. It's being used as a DAO at the moment. The devs are using them as playtesters and asking them questions and getting them to vote on things. We're going to have like concerts and stuff in the metaverse, so we'll be putting on concerts, and OBs will be the ones that get invited to that. Um, we've got an NFT package coming out this Friday coming, I think. Should be ready. And um, tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, it might be tomorrow, might be early next week. That'll be put out through the VIBs. So there's only 3,333 NFTs, and they're actually bulls. So um, all those things come through the VIB. So yes, yeah, on the actual, if you go to our Discord, there's actually links, and on our Discord there's official links. and they'll be able to find a link that goes to what VIB is and explains what
Okay.
it includes.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we
Go ahead. Sorry.
we'd love to have them in the VIB, but if they want to spend the bull, they can spend it or save it. I'd suggest saving it at the moment because it's not worth very much at the moment. 10,000 bull in a year's time, that could be $10,000. So it's a serious amount of
Okay.
money.
Very
So,
cool. Well,
perfect.
thanks again. You had to get going, you said, so we'll let you go, and I'm
Dude,
gonna do some of the giveaways. And thank you again for sponsoring those and being on the show. I've really enjoyed the talk, and we'll definitely have you back when you guys want to bring a couple more games or bring your team, and we'll do that for sure.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
everyone.